Majority Leader, my distinguished colleagues, I rise today to bring to the attention of this august chamber an issue that has long burdened ordinary Filipinos, the travel tax. At present, every Filipino departing our country by air is required to pay this tax regardless of circumstance, unless exempted by law, which, according to Section 2, PD 1183, would exempt overseas Filipino workers, Filipino permanent residents abroad who stay in the Philippines is less than 1 year, and infants 2 years and below. For families traveling abroad, Mr. Speaker, it becomes an even heavier financial burden. While traveling should uplift the spirit and broaden our horizons, it has become an unnecessary burden for ordinary Filipinos, working men and women in the Philippines, students, retirees, who barely save enough to purchase a plane ticket. Mr. Speaker, this tax traces its roots back to PD 1183, signed in 1977. It was imposed during a time when our country sought to conserve foreign exchange reserves and fund tourism infrastructure. But times have changed. The Philippines is no longer under the same economic conditions of the 1970s. Our tourism sector has expanded. Our foreign reserves have grown, and ASEAN neighbors have since abandoned similar outdated policies. Yet here we are in 2025, still charging Filipinos a tax every time they wish to travel abroad. This is a tax that is not only outdated but also inequitable. The Constitution itself recognizes the right of Filipinos to travel. And then do we penalize them simply for exercising that right? What is more concerning is that this tax does not discriminate between rich and poor. Mr. Speaker, let us ask ourselves, who truly bears the brunt of this tax? Is it not the wealthy who can easily afford business or first-class tickets? It is the ordinary Filipino, the workers working in the Philippines, the student joining an exchange program, retirees, micro and small entrepreneurs, employees both in the government and in the private sector. The families scraping together their savings for a once-in-a-lifetime vacation. For them, the travel tax is a barrier. It is an added expense. More Filipinos traveling abroad could lead the growth to the travel industry ecosystem, which include outbound travel-related industries, including passport services, travel agencies, insurance, logistics, and airport services. Even without the travel tax, there is the VAT, the income taxes, and the fees from these sectors can continue to generate revenue for the government. More travel abroad may also lead to greater cultural and educational exposure, improving the skills and perspectives of Filipinos. Tourism boards and foreign businesses may also take greater interest in the Philippine market in return. Higher outbound traffic also justifies more flight routes, more carriers, and larger airport operations, which could lead to Philippine-based airlines benefiting from higher sales, contributing to jobs and economic activity. We must remember, Mr. Speaker, that the Philippines has obligations under international agreements. The ASEAN Tourism Agreement of 2002, to which we are a signatory, commits member states to remove barriers to travel within the region, including travel levies. Yet strictly speaking, more than 20 years later, the Philippines and Cambodia remain as the only ASEAN member nations imposing this outdated tax. In Indonesia, Thailand, and Singapore, Cambodia, Laos, and Brunei, they pay airport tax or airport fee completely different from a travel tax. The message is clear. It is time to modernize our policies. This travel tax was created for a different era. Today, it only acts as a barrier to mobility, a burden on our workers and their families, and a contradiction to our commitment to promote tourism and financial inclusion. Section 73 of Republic Act 9593 or the Tourism Act of 2009 provides that 50% of the proceeds of the tax go to the TSR, while 40% of the proceeds go to higher education for tourism-educated programs. The remaining 10% goes to the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, where there would indeed be lost revenues on the part of the government which are allocated for the above purposes. The amounts needed for these agencies can instead be placed in the General Appropriations Act. Mr. Speaker, I urge this chamber to pass a bill that will abolish the travel tax for all economy class passengers, retaining it only for business class with a higher rate of 3,000 pesos, first class travelers with a higher rate of 5,000 pesos. Let us send a strong signal that this Congress stands for fairness, accessibility, and the constitutional right of every Filipino to travel. Let us be the Congress that removes this outdated burden and replace it with a policy more suited to our times. A Congress that does not stand in the way of its people's dreams, but instead opens the doors to opportunity. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.